Let me crack this tier one out real quick. Jonathan Brooks, he's probably your elite guy here. He's a 3-star recruit. A lot of people player comp him to Javonte Williams. In school, he's been the guy, and we all kind of wanted to see it. You know, I'm the biggest defender. If you want to raise your hands out there in the audience, Bjorn Robinson gets drafted, and we all thought the sky's the limit for this guy. We all thought he was going to go and do great things until he got hurt, right? That's going to be the biggest narrative. Can he beat these injuries that he has? And I'm going to tell you the reason I still have him number one. If you looked at his average, he had a 6.1 average and 10 touchdowns with no fumbles. That was on par with Bijan Robinson, what he was doing. So that's why I'm keeping him one. I'm hoping he's young enough to beat out the injuries. And then two, I put Trey Benson. All these guys are arguably 2 or 3. He's kind of a weird player to comp. I'm saying Todd Gurley, Zach Evans. He's got that pretty good speed, that 4.4 speed, but he's not really incredibly elusive. It's more of like a boom rather than bust potential. You know, he's got that straight line speed. I really like him because, you know, when I was scouting him, I was looking at that 200-yard game that he ran. He ran and broke Dalvin Cook's record. You know, he's a violent rusher, and that's kind of what, you know, maybe I'm old school, but I like to see the guys that can run the ball, you know, straight up the middle, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I like Benson a lot. Obviously, you talked about his big playability. He has that ability to take it to the house. He's extremely versatile too. He can do a lot of different things, in that backfield. Acceleration is there. The only issue that I really had, in pass pro will be one that I probably mentioned for majority of the running backs, but also he runs at a very high pad level, which, you know, works in college, but it doesn't always work in the NFL.
Yeah.
You get that pad level down. Going to the pros, they're going to have to learn that. It's something that can be taught, though, so that is definitely a plus there.
Number 3, I got Braelon Allen, and if a dynasty owner wants to put him number 1, I'm more than okay with it. It's literally dealer's choice. Okay, he's 6'3", 238 pounds. He went to college at 17 years old. This guy's played 3 years, and he started as a linebacker. So when I think of him, think of like a Carlos Hyde type, or, you know, like a bruising back type. You know, he hits, he plays angry like a running back would. His tape looks great, and in college, those 3 years, he's got 3,494 yards and 35 touchdowns in 3 freaking years. So the thought for me with him is he's a dynasty stash. He's been playing against guys 5 years older than him. If anybody has potential on a metrics to rise above a chart, it's him.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I wrote down for strengths is physical downhill runner, which is kind of what you just said there. Very patient as well, and he has good vision, so he's able to find those holes. He doesn't, rush. He can set his blocks up really well, so he can really, be patient behind the line of scrimmage. The only thing that was a negative that I had, it was his long speed.
Let's go number 4, Bucky Irving out of Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Bucky Irving. The one thing that it can be a positive and can also be a negative is I think he plays bigger than he is. Like he's 195. He seeks out contact, which is good in a sense. But if you're in the NFL seeking out contact at 195, you might not last very long. I think there's a guy, Devonta Freeman. He played kind of the same way where he sought out contact, and it's a good way to get hurt. So I think the coaches can hopefully coach him up and make sure he sort of picks his spots when he's taking on those linebackers.
The 195 pounds jumps out to me as well. But you know what? Gone are the days where we worry about these lighter running backs. That's kind of like a misnomer now. I mean, look at the last 2 seasons. Jahmyr Gibbs proved it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Devon A-Chain proved it wrong. Kyron Williams proved it wrong. We can still get production in this new NFL, these lighter players, but that's the first thing that jumped out to me, and I'm glad I see him rising up boards. Now, my number 5, I'm probably going to get drugged for because people are going to be like, who the heck's this guy? But you got to take your shots. So I'm getting a little saucy all the way at 5 because there's another name that people want there, and I'm going to argue that until I'm blue in the face. But I'm going to give you Audric Estime from Notre Dame. Okay, he's another 20-year-old prospect. He's a 4-star recruit. I kind of compare him to Bam Morris. 2 years, he's averaged 5.9 and then 6.4 yards per carry. Down there in South Bend, Notre Dame, he's more of a ground and pound kind of player. I know the NFL's kind of getting away from that. So that's kind of the knock on him too. He's one-dimensional. I mean, he doesn't do much catching or anything else for you. But if you're looking for a runner, a guy between the tackles, a guy to smash plays, you should see a lot of tape on him. It's kind of exciting to have him there. Here's a fun fact for you, Jeff. He had 18 touchdowns this season, which surprisingly is a Notre Dame record. I would have thought out all the running backs down there that somebody would have had a higher one, but that's his game.